Container ships are the silent engines of global trade. From the cluttered docks of the past to today's vast, synchronized ports, they've reshaped how the world moves. Their story is one of innovation, ambition, and a single steel box that changed the way goods and entire economies travel across the seas. Before containerization, maritime shipping was a labour-intensive and deeply inefficient process. Every cargo item, no matter its size or shape, had to be individually loaded and unloaded. Cranes hoisted crates, workers passed sacks by hand, and ships sat idle for days as goods were packed and unpacked one piece at a time. This system, often called break-bulk shipping, dominated global commerce for centuries. But it came at a cost. Long delays, frequent cargo damage, rampant theft, and sky-high labour expenses. Ports became bottlenecks, not gateways. A transatlantic shipment might spend more time sitting dockside than crossing the ocean. The logistics of global trade were messy, unpredictable, and expensive, not because of distance, but because of disorganization. And for much of the 20th century, no one had found a way to fix it. It took someone outside the shipping world to see the solution. Malcolm McLean, a North Carolina trucking entrepreneur, was all too familiar with the delays and costs of transferring cargo at ports. He saw firsthand that the real inefficiency wasn't in sailing across the ocean. It was in the constant handling of goods. McLean proposed something radical. What if cargo didn't need to be touched at all during transit? What if goods could be sealed into a steel box at the factory and remain sealed until they arrived at their final destination? In 1956, he made that vision real. He retrofitted an aging oil tanker, the Ideal X, to carry 58 metal containers stacked on its deck like building blocks. When it sailed from New Jersey to Houston, the world barely noticed. But McLean had launched a revolution. By standardizing and simplifying cargo handling, he slashed loading costs by over 90%. The container didn't just save time, it eliminated entire steps from the global supply chain, and that changed everything. As other companies rushed to adopt McLean's idea, chaos quickly followed. With no agreed-upon standard, containers varied wildly in size and shape. Some ports couldn't handle certain boxes, some cranes couldn't lift them. The promise of efficiency was quickly being undermined by incompatibility. Recognizing the need for uniformity, the International Organization for Standardization, ISO, stepped in during the late 1960s. They set precise global standards for container size, strength, and connection points. Containers would now be 8 feet wide, 8.5 feet high, and either 20 or 40 feet long. Corner castings would allow secure stacking and easy crane handling. With these standards in place, containers became truly modular. A box loaded in one country could now move seamlessly between ships, trucks, and trains anywhere in the world. The global logistics system finally had its building block: reliable, interchangeable, and scalable. As containerized shipping took off, shipbuilders responded with a new vessel design that would push the limits of infrastructure, the Panamax. These ships were built to the exact maximum dimensions allowed by the Panama Canal, just under 300 meters long and 32 meters wide. With the capacity to carry around 5,000 containers, Panamax ships quickly became the backbone of international shipping. Their dimensions dictated port layouts, berth sizes, and crane reach for decades. From Asia to the Americas, manufacturers and retailers began synchronizing supply chains around the predictable movement of these ships. Just-in-time manufacturing blossomed. Warehouses shrank, lead times shortened. As these vessels stitched the world's markets together, the container, once a radical idea, became a quiet necessity. But as global demand surged, even the mighty Panamax would soon prove too small. By the early 2000s, global trade was expanding at an unprecedented pace. To meet demand, shipbuilders designed a new generation of vessels, very large container ships, or VLCs. These floating giants could carry 10,000, 12,000, even 15,000 containers, 3 times that of a Panamax. Ports once built for yesterday's ships found themselves scrambling to adapt. Harbours were dredged deeper, cranes grew taller and stronger, logistics hubs were redesigned to process thousands of containers in carefully orchestrated waves. As the scale grew, the margin for error shrank. The logistics of global trade became faster, leaner, and increasingly fragile. Then came the ultra-large container vessels, ships so vast they seemed to defy reason. At over 400 meters in length, and with a capacity exceeding 24,000 containers, these titans represent the high water mark of shipping efficiency. Built for narrow routes between the world's largest ports, ULCVs move vast quantities of goods with astonishing economy. A single voyage might deliver 200,000 tons of cargo, stretching the boundaries of what even the most modern ports can handle. But in March 2021, a single ULCV reminded the world just how vulnerable this system could be. The Ever Given, wedged sideways in the Suez Canal, brought one of the planet's busiest trade routes to a standstill. Hundreds of ships were delayed, billions in goods backed up. The world watched as global trade was held hostage by one stuck ship. In our quest for efficiency, we had reached a new limit. Bigger ships brought cheaper freight, but also more brittle systems. Today, the future of container shipping is being reimagined, not in terms of size, but sustainability, intelligence, and adaptability. The industry is under pressure to reduce its environmental footprint. With shipping responsible for nearly 3% of global carbon emissions, innovation is no longer optional, it's urgent. Autonomous ships, guided by artificial intelligence, are no longer science fiction. They promise safer, more efficient crossings with reduced crew requirements. Smart containers, equipped with GPS, temperature monitoring, and live tracking, are giving shippers and retailers real-time control over their supply chains. From the hand-loaded chaos of break-bulk cargo to the vast automated ballet of global ports, this is a story of vision and invention, of how a simple box, lifted by cranes and carried by colossi of steel, became the engine of modern life. And as the world continues to change, one thing is certain: the journey of the container is far from over. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the history of container ships. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more deep dives into fascinating topics.